right, we already streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if you got it up on that. Yeah.
Put it on everything there.
I don't hear nothing, no T.
Then you have to go to your page and open it. I mean,
Don't talk.
accept it. See it?
Oh, 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 oh.
Daddies. Daddies.
And just when you thought it was safe, it is absolutely, positively not. And good Wednesday evening. And welcome to the first live show of the Thaddeus Matthews Show in a brand new year. Now, I promise you that this year, I'm taking you back to my radio days, and I'm going to be as controversial now as I was some years ago on radio. It's all about the paper, baby. It's all about the ratings. It's all about the numbers. It's all about bringing you the best and the most informative television talk show anywhere in the market. And we're going to start it off right tonight. Let me go back, and I think we go back to October, November, when this madness with the Memphis City Council started. When all of this madness, when, let's see, it was Edmund Ford Jr., Bill Morrison, and Janice Fullilove. They were all elected to other offices, which meant that there were 3 vacancies on the Memphis City Council. Well, the council members have the power to select the interims. But in selecting the interims, it is my opinion that the city council should listen to the people that live in those communities. How in the hell does the Memphis City Council come to the people and say, well, we just gonna put in who the hell we want and damn who the people want? Well, you know that this injustice has been taking place as far as Rhonda Logan is concerned, who has a history of service in District Number 1. Her father is the Reverend, what is his first name, Dale? Is it Sammy?
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Holloway, pastor of Breath of Life Church, Christian church in the North Memphis area, who's been pastoring for about 40 years in the area. It's the Raleigh Development. I left my notes on my desk aside. Raleigh Development Corporation. Anyway, she's been of service in the community. She has a record, she has a history of service. So people went to before the city council and they said, look, this is who we want. Some of the white boys on the council wanted Lonnie Treadaway. Now, Lonnie Treadaway, I know him. He's a water carrier for the Flynn organization. And I know that because of Flynn Broadcasting and my dealings with Flynn Broadcasting in some previous years. Lonnie is just a token white boy that carries the water for Flynn. He's a gopher. He go for whatever George Flynn told him to do. Has no real base of service in the community. In fact, in Mississippi, in May of last year, in Senatobia, he ran for office and lost, moved into Memphis, and all of a sudden, the white power structure decided that, well, this is who we want. understand that the white power brokers in this city, they want to return us to apartheid. They want to take back over the city of Memphis. Even though in the city of Memphis, black folk are 70 to 75% of the population. That city council should look like the makeup of the city of Memphis. But the white power brokers understand that if you get too many blacks in place on the council, then black folk are going to reap the benefits of what this city can do for them. One of the things that was very disturbing was Worth Morgan, city council person, who says that he could not vote for Rhonda Logan because Rickey Peete, former city councilman, I think he served 12 years, 6 months, if I remember correctly. 12 years, 6 months on the council. Yes, Rickey Peete was convicted, paid his debt to society, as we call it. But how does this white boy sit on the council and say to this black woman and to black folk in District 1 that we can't select you, even though not only Rickey Peete, not only Touche Parkinson, state representative, not only the ministers who came and spoke in her behalf, community leaders, people who lived in the community said, look, this is a person on an interim basis we want to represent us because right now we have taxation without representation. This is who we want. So Worth Morgan says, I ain't gonna vote for you because Rickey Peete is a convicted felon. And how can Rickey Peete speak for you? He doesn't have a voice. He's convicted. He doesn't represent being a citizen of the community because he's had some trouble. Now, if we just want to be honest, now a lot of these white boys in Memphis, these power brokers, they're guilty of probably some of the same things that Rickey Peete was found guilty of. They just didn't get caught. But does not Rickey Peete have the right as a citizen to come and speak in the behalf of a person that he knows will render service to the people of that community? Now, Rickey Peete and I have not always gotten along. During his troubles, I talked about him and I talked about him bad on television and radio. But Rickey Peete has paid his debt to society. Tonight, Rickey Peete is in the house. I've never interviewed Rickey Peete ever. In all of my years of broadcasting, I've never had the opportunity to interview Rickey Peete. Now let me set some ground rules for tonight. This show tonight is not about rehashing anything that Rickey Peete has done. I'll let him speak to that. But it's about the nerve of Berlin Boyd, who has joined in affiliation with the whites against the black city council persons and also the blacks in District 1. When we go back and we look at the history of politics in the black community, black leaders were elected to represent black folk. But what we find is happening is once you get to office, you say the hell with the folk, damn the folk. If the white folk can pay me off, if I can be the good nigga for the white folk, that's what I'm going to be. And that's what Berlin Boyd has become. There was an opportunity on the night that Janice Fully Love and also Edmund Ford Jr. was still present on their last night. There was the opportunity to place this black woman in office. She's only there, would only be there for a short period of time because this year now is an election year and she would have to run for the office and may the best man or woman win. But I got an issue with Worth Morgan, who does not live in the black community, does not know the trials and tribulations of being a black person. I have an issue when this white boy decides that, well, I know what's best for black folk. And then you have a Negro like Berlin Boyd sitting on the council and says, Yassa boss. He's become one of those Yassa boss Negroes that in this election year, we must remove from office. Let me let you understand something. Black folk in the city of Memphis, you are not the minority. Damn it, it's time that you act like you are the majority. It's time to let white folk know, yes, we all live in the city, but when we look at the numbers, we should have control of what goes on in the city. It's amazing to me that white folks say, well, color does not matter at this point. But when white folk had the numbers, when they were in charge, we got nothing. Your term limits that you presently have was never in effect as long as white folk had the numbers and they were in control in the city of Memphis. After the election of Willie Harrington in 1991, and then those city council persons who rode in on his coattail to dominate the city council, this is when white folk decided that it was time we need to limit your term in office. The people that live in communities have the power of term limits. Rickey Peete tonight is my guest. I'm going to allow Rickey Peete to give his views on what Worth Morgan said. And Rickey does not have to be bashful, and he never has been. And he can say it just the way he feels it. I would not open up any phone lines. We are not rehashing anything from 10, 20 years ago. This show tonight is not to attack Rickey Peete, but this show is to attack what white folk are trying to do in the city of Memphis and the Thaddeus Matthews show. And Thaddeus Matthews, the only black journalist in the city that got the balls to say what needs to be said. I don't work for the white folk. The white folk ain't paying me. I'm unbought and unbossed. We're going to set the record straight that this election year, it's about the people, it's about representation, and yes, it's about black folk being able to represent black folk on that city council. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, my guest, Rickey Peete, former city councilman for the city of Memphis, will be on the set. We'll be right back. All right.
Hey, Dad,
Yes.
Both of the MKs out?
Yeah, I have a new M&K tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, but the lady shop is completely out.
Okay.
But the men's store will be up tomorrow. Come on, Rickey. Am I going to slide over?
Of course.
Yeah, just a second.
Huh? Huh? No, I mean, I normally got some up here. I just ran off and left.
That one's gonna be whatever the camera is.
Well, I mean, that's gonna go on there.
And that's your water.
Do what? Okay. You only go stay for hours, right? Okay. I just can't get the business from black folk.
If we just move the council. There ain't a lot of space up there, but it kind of push you on the edge a little.
Sit him on the edge.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
we
Could
gonna,
you just angle around a little bit, tad bit?
This way?
yeah.
How's that?
How's the volume on TV?
It was
Okay. Mm-hmm. What's the, Brunson's 15? 15 tonight? See, and see, they were trying, see, what they were trying to do was channel my money to Carol. I said, no. Right, right,
You don't want to allow it, that you want to allow it.
right, right. Right. Okay.
How's that, T?
It's better than it was.
What is that deal?
Somebody was clowning on Facebook.
Huh?
Somebody was clowning on Facebook.
Are they gone?
They are gone.
Okay.
It's all good in the neighborhood.
What we got left, T? Mm. Well, see, all of us, like that funeral home, they by the time I use my person
Right.
to shoot the
Oh,
commercials.
okay.
See, I by the time here, but you know, this is independent of the network.
Right, right.
Okay. And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show, new and improved. Tomorrow night we're going to be talking about sex trafficking. A young lady that I've known for a period of time, her daughter is missing. She's out on the whole track. We're going to have her in on tomorrow night. We're going to be talking to her about her daughter, her situation, and sex trafficking, and how even the city of Memphis Police Department handles missing black children. On Friday night, well, y'all heard me last week when I exposed Pastor Anthony Turner. Well, we got another pastor that's done got itself caught up, and that show is going to be on Friday night. There is a young lady, she's 23 years old now. She was 18 years old. She was sleeping with a particular pastor here in the city of Memphis. She got pregnant by the pastor, and the pastor, she says, forced her to have an abortion. I got the receipts. I got all of the text messages between the pastor and the young lady. He's a North Memphis pastor. You North Memphis pastors, y'all just messing up. You have to learn now with this modern technology that's out there. When women get mad at you, they keep the receipts, they keep the recordings, they screenshot all of your text messages. But we'll be talking about this prominent Memphis pastor on Friday night. Tonight, my guest is Rickey Peete. Rickey, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure being here with you, Thaddeus, and I want to say hello to your guest. You are correct. This is our first time doing a face-to-face interview after over 12 years. What most of your listeners and viewers don't know is that many years ago, you and I worked together in a community-based organization, QTech, the organization I founded, but we also worked together with the other organization that they were trying, the federal government or the Republicans were trying to.
Which group was that?
Remember the group where the white guy was acting dressed up as a pimp? And it
Okay.
Acorn.
Acorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Years ago, we did something with Acorn.
Yeah.
But let me just say that it's good to be here for a number of reasons. But first of all, I want to say that I respect you, respect your show, and respect the way you articulate the needs and concerns of our community, because they need to be articulated in this day and time. Too often, we're letting the white media dictate how we think, how we act, and what we do, and who we select as our leaders. And that's one of the reasons why I decided. Initially, I was going to respond to this white boy in a full-fledged press conference. But then I thought about it, and I got with counsel and talked about it, and decided that I want to respond. I don't need to explain anything to white folk. I want to make sure that I talk to my people. Because it's my people that I've fought. The white folk have benefited over the years from a lot of things that I've done on the council and school board. But also my major focus has been my people.
Rickey, I don't think that you run away from the issues of convictions or any of that. It is what it is.
It is what it is. And let me just say this here. You know, I pled not guilty 20-some years ago, was convicted, paid the penalty in terms of being incarcerated, set up, went through the same thing 20 years later, okay? And I'm in the process of writing my autobiography, and I've already told you that I'm going to do my exclusive on my autobiography on this show.
Okay.
When it's complete, but I'm going to get in that autobiography. I'm going to get into details of that because a lot of things that I could not talk about that the people do not know that I want them to know. Okay. For one, on the last time this occurred 12 years ago, Ed Ford and I were both set up and trapped by the same individual.
Ed Ford, and we're talking about Ed Ford Senior.
Ed Ford
Right.
Senior. The reason why I could not follow through and fight this all the way through is because of the fact that if you have, in the federal system, if you have something that has occurred in terms of conviction that's within 20 years, they can bring that last issue up into this particular case. And therefore, you have the possibility of probably having a number of enhancements added if in fact you lose the case.
Okay.
Which means that something that if it was a standalone situation that you would be looking at 3 years, they could make it 9 or 10. That's the way the system works.
Okay.
And so essentially when you faced with that, we were right on the tail end of the Tennessee Waltz where they targeted 9 African American leaders, county commissioners, state senators, state representatives. And my chances were 50-50 in terms of either pleading guilty or not pleading guilty, going to trial. Going to trial, I could have been looking at 9 or 10 years if in that current environment I'd gotten convicted. So I chose to plead as opposed to doing what Ed did and fight that. But like I said, a lot of times, and now people, you know, those who've been through some of these things, you know, a lot of times when you plead guilty, does not mean that you're guilty. You're dealing with a situation where you have to take the best route for yourself and for your family. And as I said, I'll get into more of that detail when I write the book and complete the book and we discuss it. But the bottom line is this: guilty or innocent, I paid my debts. I'm not paying any more debts to anybody, white folk, anybody else.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody had to go and deal with incarceration but me. So I'm not holding my head down and yeah, sir, boss, and I'm not to scratch my head and grinning like ain't nothing funny. I'm a man. I've always been a man. I've always fought for our people, and I've always been effective. In fact, what a number of people do remember, some don't, is that the first white cop indicted in this town for killing a black boy, I got that cop indicted, and it was when I was first elected to the council in 1987. 16-year-old Marcus Norris,
Right.
playing with a toy gun over at the Palomino Motel on Summer Avenue. When they had the kid, when they did the autopsy, the kid had pellets rather, in his armpits. This cop, who's I call it John Dolan, shot the boy with his hands up.
It was on summer.
It was on Summer at the Palomino Motel.
Right.
His mother, I just gone through a very, very tough race to get elected to the city council the first time to District 7. I did not, that was a different time than now. All white police force, the leadership was white. We had 3 blacks on the council, elected council, myself, Dr. James Ford, and Michael Hooks, 10 white council members, a white mayor, 3 white city court judges, a white city court clerk. And a very, very racist police department that was predominantly white. So you didn't really want to get involved in that. But when the boy's mother called me, this boy was shot and killed.
You can't tap on the table.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because it's picking up.
Okay.
Okay.
But when the boy's mother called me and asked me if I'd help her, it really wasn't something I was enthusiastic about. But I prayed about it. I remember the words of Dr. King, that the man hasn't found someone worth dying for, he isn't fit to live. You got to stand, you got to straighten your back up. The man can't ride your back on the rest of the day. So, at 10 o'clock, we were being sworn in at the orphan. At 2 o'clock, I was leading a march on the criminal justice complex with Randy Wade on one side, the boy's mother in the middle, and former judge and TV judge Joe Brown on the other side. It took us 3 days. Third day, we had an indictment returned, first cop in history. Unfortunately, 4 months later, about 150 cops flooded the courtroom. We had 8 whites and 4 blacks, and blacks capitulated. This was a 16-year honor student.
Mhm.
He walked, he was acquitted.
Mhm.
But that was the first one. They called me, threatened to kill me. Nation of Islam volunteered to come over, some members to guard me, all kinds of things happened back then.
Mhm.
And I understood at that point I had a target on my back. You know, I've always been a strong advocate. I fought, have made certain people were fed, jobs for our young people. I created jobs program. You remember that for young folk. Had homes built. In fact, I passed the law that there's a moratorium where you can't cut people off during the winter time. That MLJ doesn't. I pushed that law through. Okay, with Herman Larson was the president. So I fought long and hard for our folk. I have nothing to apologize for that. You know, I've been a strong leader. I made mistakes like a lot of other folk have made mistakes. Okay, Tom Jones, who worked for the county mayor, is now one of the writers for one of the newspapers that could be critical of me. Yet you never hear his name mentioned.
Well, you never even hear about the fact that Tom Jones even went to jail.
Exactly.
You don't hear about the indictment of Carl Sletwitz.
Exactly.
Okay? Because these are the white boys in this town who said it's all right for us as white folk to do certain things and maybe get caught or maybe not get caught. Carl Sletwitz got indicted at, what was it, 82?
Yeah, with Harold.
And he stayed in jail to 89. They came back and said, well, he didn't do it. Okay? But now Carl Sletwitz is a prominent member of this community. He's looked up to, I think he's director of the Memphis Zoo.
And he's the president of a major
Monogram.
Yeah,
Monogram. So it's all right for us to forgive the sins of white folk, but we're not able to forgive black folk when they make their errors in life. What you did, whether you did it or not, you paid your debt to society. You are a citizen of this city. You're a lifelong resident of North Memphis. So when we look at this, what does Rickey Peete do now for a living?
I'm a political consultant and business consultant. I help people get elected to office. I also help people get their businesses started and market their business. So that's my business. That's how I make a living. And in response to Worth Morgan, because I kind of got off the side going through that, but as you pointed out, this white boy does not live in our community. He's the son of a very rich man, Alan Morgan, a Morgan and Keegan.
Okay.
And so he's never had to work in his life. And so essentially this deal was not about Rickey Peete. It was not about Antonio Parkins, okay? Even though we worked and we supported and spoke up for Miss Logan and did all the things we could do to help her, which is my right as a citizen who lives in that community and as an influential community leader in that community. It's my right to speak up and support who I want to support. When my rights for real estate, all my rights for real estate, I could do that.
Okay.
Number one. Now, what the people have to understand is that it wasn't about a personality, it was about one thing, money and power. Money and power. Right now, there are 7 African Americans on the council, there were 7 African Americans on the council and six whites on the council. Berlin Boyd, by casting his lot with the white council members, became the powerful pivotal vote. So there are a lot of issues that dealt with our community that went the other way is because he was voting with them as opposed to voting with the other African Americans. Now, if you get an African American in District 1, which is a district that is predominantly black, that is a district that's majority black. It's been majority black for 12 years.
And never had a black representative.
Exactly. Now, I've had black representatives on the school board, but
Right.
never one
On the
city council. And that right within itself right there is wrong. But yet, that was the situation. So now we were trying to right that wrong and put an individual who's been involved in that community for the last 30 years. Her father's got the biggest church in that community and everything, and they've been out there helping people in that community. Why not give someone, she's the head of the Raleigh Community Development Corporation, why not give that person an opportunity to represent the district? You go get a white boy who is from Mississippi, works for Flynn, and the connection there is that he works for the Flynn Corporation. Shay Flynn, who was on the city council, who's now with the Chamber of Commerce, conspired with these other white boys on the council in order to bring him in, move him into that district in July. and said he's ready now, and we want him to be your council person, which is ridiculous. So in order to, because the pressure was so great on them, they take Worth Morgan and send him out to attack me and to attack Antonio Parker as a diversion. To say no, the only reason why one of the reasons why we don't want to vote for her is because Rickey Peete supported. What does that have to do with her qualification? I can support who I want to support. What does that have to do with her? Okay, you got a whole bunch of folks supporting Donald Trump. Okay, now am I going to disqualify Donald Trump, which should have happened? But anyway, am I going to disqualify him because all the folks who support him? Or am I going to disqualify another person because he supports them? Okay. So the point that I'm making is that this young man, Worth Morgan, is a young white country club Klansman. He's a racist. Okay. Again, I say he's a young white country club Klansman. He's never had to do anything in his life in terms of hard work. Okay. He, in my opinion, is a skinhead with hair.
Skinhead with hair.
And that's exactly what he is. And so, so his attack upon me, first of all, you understand, I've been through the attacks. I can handle it. I'm a man. And so he does not at all intimidate me. Those other council members don't intimidate me in terms of the white ones and Berlin Board. They don't intimidate me. And the bottom line is that ultimately, the decision as to who is elected to that council will be made by the people at the voting booth. So they may figure out a way to skirt allowing Ms. Logan to serve in that capacity, but they will not skirt the citizens at the ballot box. And we're going to be working hard to ensure that not only Ms. Logan, but that someone in District 7, the district that Mr. Boyd represents, is elected, someone who cares about that community. Let me just say something about that. 4 years ago, I supported Thurston Smith as a political consultant, my business. Thurston didn't make it into the runoff. The runoff was Berlin Boyd, who had been appointed, and Anthony Anderson. Both of them were lobbying me very hard for my service as a political consultant because of my influence in that area. I decided upon Berlin Boyd after sitting down with him for 2 hours. And in the general election, the first election, there was 1 percentage point that separated him and Anthony Anderson. When we got through with that runoff, he beat Anthony Anderson 2-1 because of our support. Now, of course, after everybody, including Anthony Anderson, acknowledged that it was our support that did that for him, but yet immediately after winning, he basically gave the credit to the white boys who he spent a huge amount of money with in terms of advertising as far as being able to deliver him in that election. And that's the kind of mentality that we're dealing with. So I understood then that I made a mistake, and you do make mistakes in terms of choices. But and then of course something else that is he has told other council members is that I and Touche have called and threatened him or texted him and threatened him to run somebody against. I've never. That's a lie. Never.
So now let's go to that. Let's go to that point because, and what I stated to Berlin Boyd was after one of the sessions was, if you have received these threats from individuals, give me the threats, show me the text, and let's go public with it. If you're saying that while you were sitting up there on the dais, that there were persons in the audience that were sending you text messages threatening to put somebody in the race against you or threatening you in some other way, give them to me.
Exactly.
And we'll go public with them. That never happened.
It won't because he does not have them. That was his way of trying to insulate and protect himself because of the heat was really hitting him from all sides with the black community rising up against him. Here you got a situation where we have an opportunity to get an 8th seat that we deserve. We, the black community, deserve the 8th seat. That seat
can't hit the tape.
I'm sorry.
Because these mics are sensitive. Okay.
That seat is a seat that should be held by an African American. Okay. Now, you have an opportunity to do that. You sit up and over 100 votes go down, and you either pass or vote for someone else. You will not line up with the other 6 African Americans and put this sister into that seat. That to me is a Memphis Clarence Thomas. or worse.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is that no, we never did threaten you with running someone against you, because first of all, they wouldn't be a threat, but we never did text you to do that. But I can guarantee you this time, we're gonna crank it all the way up, and we're gonna do everything in our power to ensure that we get good, strong representation in District 7.
But here's the point, Ricky. When we look at black politics, and I started looking at some names that came out that's going to run in that race, and some of them have no organization. Most of them have no money to run. You guarantee Berlin's going back into office when you run somebody that has no organization in place and does not have the finances. Running on a good idea, or you think that you can be elected, that you're the best person for it, but you have no organization and you ain't got no money. You need to stay at the house and allow somebody. See, what's going to have to happen in that district and in any other district, there has to be, we got to go back to when Dr. Harrington was elected.
Exactly.
Okay? We've got to go back and pull consensus candidates. Everybody can't run, okay? Y'all ain't got no money. And here's the thing I run into, Ricky, when I'm out here doing the advertising in. Folk want to run and want me to do it for free, and I ain't gonna do it for free. Okay? And you're in the consulting business.
And I can't do it.
Okay, so if you're running for office, you need to have some money, okay? And I looked at a lot of the names of people that are running. I'm hearing that Thurston is interested in it again. I'm hearing some other names of people that are considering running in that particular race, but you ain't got no money. You don't have an organization, and you cannot run for these races based on you having a good idea. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you do not have the mechanism and the people behind you that can get your message out, you just somebody at the house with a good message.
Exactly.
So what do we say if we want to take Berlin out, and we do? And Berlin, 4 years ago, he advertised with me against Anderson. Anderson don't like me to this day because of that. I don't care. But the fact is, my support on Berlin should not have been there. Okay? Because not only did he advertise, I asked people in the community to support this brother. Okay?
I know.
Now he has aligned himself up against us in the black community. And anytime that we have the power, because all it takes is 7 votes on that council, and you can move City Hall anywhere in the city of Memphis that you want.
That's right. Can I add to that now?
Sure.
Now, first of all, that was another time that you and I were together. We were on the same side on that deal with Berlin.
Okay.
Because when he was advertising with you, and you were strong behind him, you helping him. I was helping him. So both of us were in the same boat, thinking that this guy here was the best choice. That's the reason I went with him. But let me say this here. This is really important for your viewers to understand. We are in. You've said it before a number of times. I've watched you when you say it. We're in a critical stage in this community. I've been around. I was on the Board of Education. I was the youngest elected official in the city when I was elected at 27 to be on the Board of Education. It was 3 blacks on the me, Carl Johnson, and Maxine Smith. I've watched the evolution, and you're absolutely correct. We're in an apartheid Johannesburg kind of situation right now, and as in other major cities where this has happened, there's a major effort to reclaim the power in this city. This whole IRV legislation, and that's instant runoff vote. Now, a lot of our folk did not understand that vote because it was convoluted. You had 3 amendments on it at the same time. And then, of course, the way the IRV amendment was structured was that it was a yes vote was to repeal. And a lot of folk, interpret yes and no to be just that. Yes, no. It's no, but we're pushing yes to repeal it. Now, the IRV stood, and let me tell you how dangerous that is. The danger, and I know our councilman, now Commissioner Ford, was on your show, and he explained it, and I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but bottom line is just here. If you got a runoff situation, if someone doesn't get 50% under the current situation, if they don't get 50%, then the top two going to run off. Okay, this is only in the district races. Now,
Right.
But under this concept, this RIV concept, someone could come in third or fourth.
Okay.
And in the majority of the black district, you could have a white person come in third or fourth. And because of the finagling that they do, throwing votes out here, throwing votes out there, that person could end up winning at the end of the day because it's hand counted by the Republican-controlled election commission. So now, all this is about one thing. If in fact they can flip one of those 3 African-American district seats, one vote would change the balance of power on the council. Now, what does that mean? Right now, we've got close to $2 billion worth of development getting ready to take place in this city. Union Avenue, all of that's taking place, okay? Black contractors have been getting a minuscule amount. That means money that goes into black community, jobs, economic development, all of that, 1 to 2%, okay? So, if you got an African-American controlled council that is doing something, is focused on doing something for our community, that's not challenging the other community. I want them to have their share too, but for too long we've not had our share, and they've had our share and their share. But if you've got that, then those billions that are going to be spent on union and all these other projects, we can make sure that African Americans get their pro rata share of that, whether it's marketing and advertising, whether it's construction, whatever it is, we need to ensure that our people are given the opportunity to participate on an equitable basis. The county commission just passed last week a resolution that would create 20% minority participation. And there's upwards of $5 to $8, $7 billion worth of construction and other kind of works, goods and services that will be let by the county over the next 5, 7 years. Do you know what 28 to 25% of that money going into our community would do? It would change the complexion of our community.
I was totally disappointed in black council persons on the past council when the crosstown, the old Sears building, was redone, and it is what it is now. What did black folk in North Memphis get out the deal?
Not
Okay.
a thing.
And I have to blame the council people, and especially those who represented North Memphis, okay? Be it Joe Brown, be it Janice, be it any, and Berlin. Berlin was known to be working with Kim Conrad. Kim Conrad had a contract, okay? Kim Conrad sitting on the council. White boy got a contract for the building.
And guess what? If I had a contract, they would have had me on the indictment.
Yes.
If I had a joint venture with a big developer, businessman who's developing the whole commercial strip across from Mendel Hall on Madison, as Berlin has, if I was involved in a deal like that, I would have been on indictment. But if you are affiliated and associated with the right people, you can do what you want to do, which is wrong. Which is wrong.
Let's take it back to something that you really know something about. Let's take it back to Beale Street. Okay? Let's take it back. What was the guy's name? I can't think of it now because I want to. That ran Beale Street.
John Elkins.
John Elkington. Millions of dollars are still missing from Beale Street. Okay? The city of Memphis has never been vested into Beale Street, even though black people, Randall Catron, the Beale Street Development Corporation went and got the money when the city of Memphis could not afford to develop it. Why?
It was Jim Smith, Reverend Smith, the guy.
Right.
And
Right.
was working with him, yeah.
And Wyatt Chandler was the mayor at that time when the black folk went to Washington and was able to bring the money back. The Beale Street Development Corporation, along with Jim Smith and later Randall, was supposed to be able to handle that because they were equal partners.
Right.
Okay, equal partners in the contract. Found out that John Elkington was vested, he was taking money, he was trying to develop all across the country,
I can-
little Beale Street.
I can attest to that. I mean,
Okay.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Okay.
And Sam, let me, add to
No,
that.
let
Go ahead.
me finish where I was going on that. When I finally was able, I went with Randall Catron before the city council. I think you may have still been on the council at that time. Randall got a raw deal, and I blame some of that on you. Okay? Randall got a raw deal with Beale Street. But finally, when Dr. Harrington said, let's do something, Doc was on his way out. You bring that other handkerchief head Negro, AC in, okay? There was an investigation already going on. What's the attorney's name, Dale? Wilkins. Rickey Wilkins had an investigation, had found out that there were millions of dollars missing, millions of dollars that had been misappropriated on Beale Street, millions of dollars that Elkerton was using as though the money coming in off of Beale Street was his money. Well, there's an investigation going on. We think we got it. We think he's going to get indicted, just like all the black guys that have been in the Tennessee walls. Then you put in Myron Lowry after Doc leaves because he's the chairman of the city council. And what does he do? He stops the investigation. When AC wins the election, they give this white boy a parade. We forgive you. We don't mind you stealing from the people on Beale Street, but had it been you, Rickey, okay?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and you were the president of the Beale Street.
No, I was executive director. That's what I was.
Executive director
Yeah.
of the Beale Street Merchants
Right.
Association. Okay, but had it been you, had it been anybody else black
Right.
that misappropriated over $25 million that they knew of, there would have been an indictment. But they give this white boy a parade, and you the best white boy we ever seen, and
And he's getting his 6% off the top for the remainder of the 50 year season. What happened was
the 52-year
Exactly.
contract.
Let me tell you about that.
Uh-huh.
See, what happened is that when Wyatt Chandler became a judge back in 1982, he became a judge. Then they had Wallace Matewell, who was his CAO,
Right.
that stepped in as mayor.
Uh-huh.
Elkerton cut the deal with Matewell to get the 52-year contract.
Right.
It's totally unheard of.
Okay.
So that's how he got the 52-year contract. Part of the deal that the AC and the rest of them cut with this guy to get him out of the Beale Street deal was to guarantee he continued to receive his 5 or 6% revenue for the remainder of the 52 years, even though he's no longer down there. Okay.
He gets 6% of what?
Five or 6
Of the rent.
It's either the rent or it's probably rent. It's not gross profit. It's probably rent. I'll have to check that. But he gets 5 or 6% monthly off Beale Street. Okay. Now let me address something that's real important. I want to address. I knew Randall real well, and I got hit with a lot of stuff that I'm the wrong person to get hit with. First of all, John Elkerton, I was the executive director of the Beale Street Merchants Association. Those are people who own the businesses on Beale Street. He had a stranglehold on the Merchants Association, not association, but the merchants, because he controlled those leases. He could play games with them, poor leases and everything else. So I'm constantly at war with him on behalf of the merchants. And he's afraid of me because I'm also on the council and put some pressure on him from the council perspective. So he was not my friend and everything. And so I would talk to Randall. In fact, I helped Randall financially, personally, out of my own pocket a couple of times when he was in a tight situation. Never said anything to anybody about that, okay? And liked him, talk with him about it. What Elkin would try to do is play me off against Randall, okay? And Randall off against me. I didn't control the economics. The economics in terms of the money, the way the thing was structured is that Elkington was supposed to get whatever percentage he, as the management company, was supposed to get first of the rents off of the merchants, and then pass the rest of the rental income up through the Beale Street Development Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Beale Street Development Corporation, which was Randall, was supposed to get what they needed to get and then pass the rest to the city. That's the way it's supposed to happen.
But it never happened.
The reason why it never happened because Elkton was using a lot of that money, as you said, to start projects down in Baton Rouge. I knew what the project, Jackson, Mississippi. You know, he was using money for that. But the point is, that wasn't the Merchants Association. The Merchants Association were the businesses just trying to make a living down there, just like everybody. A lot of them had gone through bankruptcies and everything else. Okay, so it wasn't. And now you had individual beefs between Randall and some of the merchants like Mike Glenn over to New Days and various little beefs and everything. But never was there a situation where I had anything to do with messing around. Because basically, you know, I was pushing like everything I could to get as many African Americans down there in business and pushing the merchants to do what they could help. Elkton wasn't about helping them. Elkton was about putting money in his pocket.
Well, I mean, very few people even in the city realize that you probably only have 2 black businesses on Beale Street.
No,
Is it 3 now?
At one time, it's 4 or 5. I mean, you had Willie Mitchell's daughters, Yvonne, Lorraine Mitchell. They had Willie Mitchell Club when it was down
Right.
there. You had Roland Banks, he's long gone. Then you got the other brother.
Yeah, Royale that was out.
You get Roy, the other brother who used to be over security. He's got that spot there where right next to Royale. Then you got James Clark, who has the Ill, et cetera.
Who's been there forever.
He's the longest serving business on Beale Street. Then you got Marsh and Jerome Burke.
Right.
You got Strange Chicago, Memphis Music.
Right.
And then you got one other club. So you got about 4 or 5 of them. When I was there, it was up to 25%. You know, but the key though is this: 25%. But you got 25%. Most of them were retail establishments because the whole deal in terms of getting clubs financed was difficult. You know, people in a club restaurant, most of them were retail establishments. So therefore, the big clubs were owned by mostly white. You know, and there were efforts like with Royale and with the Harris Smiths and Vernon Johnson's ownership of the club after that. So there were efforts made, but it was difficult in terms of getting black-owned clubs to survive there.
All right, let's take a commercial break. My guess is, Ricky, how long you got left?
I'll stay with you another 30.
He'll stay with me another 30 minutes. Rickey Peete, and we'll talk about some things that most of you really don't understand. And when I use the word apartheid, while black folk are sleeping, white folk are thinking. They use water-carrying Negroes, just like I've looked at that list of folk who are supporting Jim Strickland for re-election. I'm talking about the black folk. And let me say something to Pat Rogers. And I saw your post where you were stating that the who's who were in the presence of Jim Strickland at Myron's New Year's thing. Let me tell you something. Who's who ain't about a damn if black folk are not benefiting. Being in the presence of white folk. And see, here's where some of you Negroes are messing up at. Y'all want to be in the presence of white folk, but you don't want no presence from white folk. White folk are not bringing any presence into the black community. So you Negroes, you handkerchief head Negroes who are supporting Jim Strickland. And I'm going to be calling your names and telling folk the reason that many of you are supporting him. Ron Redwing, you one of them, okay? We're going to be telling black folk in this community what's really going on. See, the Thaddeus Matthews show, I don't owe nobody a damn thing. And nobody. I'm not a part of the cliques. I don't come to none of y'all meetings unless y'all talking about money. I don't come to your meetings. They can't control what I say on the air. And I'm going to pull your card on all of you token Negroes, you handkerchief head, water carrying Negroes that would rather have a white man over you. Just like, it behooves me that even Steve Cohen stated yesterday, not only is he going to run this term, he's going to run another term. Because this white boy thinks that he's unbeatable in the black community because too many of you handkerchief head, and some of you handkerchief head preachers, elders, apostles, and bishops, y'all receiving payoffs to keep these white folk in place. Black folk, we have to wake up and tell them to kiss our ass and call it sweet. We'll be back after these commercial messages.
That was good. That was good. The flow is a good flow too, right? You see the chemistry.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
flow. I'll take some water there. Yeah, we'll flow. Do I have time to run the job?
Huh?
I have time to run to the job?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Right quick. Now we flowing, Doc, because we're hitting.
But go on run though, because these commercials, they are.
Be quick.
Did I see you that time?
Huh?
Go all the way down to that last hallway.
Back the other way?
Yeah, back that other way. To the last hallway on the right. It is the first door on the right. Reach your past it. Yep. Right there. First door on the right.
Why you want me to ask him about that?
Somebody, pulled it up on your thing.
Okay.
One of your people, so you know, I know you couldn't see it.
How's the flow going with this?
Great.
Yeah, that economic development issue, man, is serious.
Somebody wants to know about the Riverfront Development Corporation too.
Okay, like what they're doing.
Yeah, how it's coming to be, where the money is and all that.
I'll address what I know about it. But I really want to say that because, on the Randall piece, because, let's see, you know.
Cause Lucille watches me every night.
Yeah, and you know, I've heard some things she said, I've never met her.
You never met Lucille?
And I've heard some things she said, and things, I said, I've never met her, so she really doesn't understand. I was doing everything I could, try to figure out how to help her. But the point is, I wasn't controlling the money. That was Elkin playing, and Elkin was playing a real game, he was playing the fiddle, you know, and doing everything he could. He was taking the money and putting it into all different projects. So when Randall attacked me, I said, I'm not the one that attacked. I'm not controlling that he controls the money. I don't have anything to do with it. My merchants are having the same problem you having with it, you know? But, yeah, the Beale Street Development Corporation, well, the thing about Morgan too, also Morgan has never voted for any disbursements, allocation for African-American, nonprofits. And he brags about that he doesn't vote for them. That's right, I want to say that too.
Okay.
He brags about it, he acknowledges. Jamila's getting all the information on that, not one is he voted for. Voted for all the white people, not them. How'd you like that explanation of the IRD? You think that good? So where's your church at? It's on,
I'm in Raleigh. I'm on, Raleigh Milton.
I'll have to come out there.
Okay, it was last, the dwelling place. Before that, it was, Trinity, and before that, white folk had it.
Dwelling place. What is
Now, dwelling place now is in Bill Atkins' old church.
Okay,
Okay.
but
And-
it was dwelling place is the church thing.
Right.
Okay.
Man, I got 45,000 square feet.
Big
I got gymnasium and,
Really?
Just-
Is that your jam now?
yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah, yeah.
That's a good move, that dog. Membership going pretty good.
Huh?
Membership going pretty good.
No, cause I run into, the Thaddeus Matthews haters.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
yeah, you gonna have that.
Yeah,
But the thing is, you're independent, so you don't
Right.
have to. Mhm. This gonna be in the way with this won't be seen with the water.
no, if it is, it's a,
Is it okay?
um,
I can set it back over there yet.
no, you can say no, that you want to. It ain't gonna trip on TV. If it does, it's all right.
Good.
Huh? Okay. Somebody keeps saying, hey, that the volume is low. Is the volume right on TV? Okay. Okay. That's what. And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show, and my guest tonight is Rickey Peete, and we're sharing a whole lot of things and sending notice that, and it's no secret we ain't throwing the rocks out of our hands. Berlin Board has to go. But we also got to be very careful of the people that are running, and we went back to this IRV thing that most of y'all voted for and did not know what you're voting for. They can slip somebody in there because now the way the IRV is set up for district races, not at large seats, but for district council seats, they can take a person that comes in fourth place and move him all the way to the top. So we have to strategically put our plans together. And this is the reason I'm urging those of you who are considering running for these district seats. Baby, if you ain't got no money, sir, if you ain't got no money, sit down and raise you some money. If you do not have an organization in place, then just wait and get your money together and hire a consultant. There are blacks in this community who have the ability, the knowledge to mobilize people and get them to the polls. Not only Rickey, you got the Grant brothers and some others who are out here who help get people to the polls. That's what you got to have an organization in place. White folk already understand that you're not organized. They play on the fact you're not organized. And then the other thing that they do, they find these ambitious young folk. See, I always hear a lot of you talking about, well, we need some new blood in office. Well, sometimes the new blood has already been tainted before it even gets in office. Because some of these young Negroes who wants to sit at what they call the king's table, you want to be set and recognized by white folk, they already bought you. They promise you a position. They promise you this, they promise you that. So they put you in a race. They give you $10,000 or $15,000 to run in a race, maybe even $20,000. And in a district race, if you don't have at least $50,000, you ain't got no business even in the race. You cannot run a successful business taking up dues on Sunday morning. You got to have some money in place to run for office. But we're concerned with, and the reason Rickey is here, we're talking about this white boy by the name, and don't get mad because I say, well, he is a white boy. Okay, don't get mad, and because see, somebody else start calling me, you're a racist. Well, okay, I love my people. I believe in educating my people. And those of you who do not participate in politics in this community, then you go off of what you read in the commercial appeal. You go off of what white media tells you, and understand white media can only say so much. Rickey would not have been allowed to say what he said tonight on this show with white media. Let's go back and talk about Worth Morgan, a millionaire.
Millionaire, and his father is a multi-millionaire.
Mhm.
Part of that whole power group that really controls Memphis. and everything. And I want people to understand the connections there. First, before I go into the connection, let me just say something else about Worth Morgan. This was conveyed to me by several of the African American council members who were voting for Rhonda and who had collected data, because I wanted information. I believe in doing research like you do. And Worth Morgan, I was told, has voted against every allocation and appropriation for African American nonprofit groups and organizations, every one of them. And he brags about, he boasts that he has voted against them now. He votes for the allocation for the white groups. But while the African Americans are voting for both groups, voting for the allocations for the whites and for the African American groups, which is fair because those are nonprofits doing things. He won't vote for any. He has not in his 3 years on the council voted for any allocations for African American groups. That shows you what his mentality is. It shows you that country club Klansman mentality that he has. And so it is important for us to understand the relationship there. Berlin Board works for Fred Smith's son to start a new job there. His name is Richard Smith. He's the executive vice president over at FedEx.
Okay.
You got Reed Hedgepeth, who is another white on the council, who's best friends with Fred Smith, with Richard Smith. And so you see the connection developing there. So and I respect everything that Federal Express has brought to this community, so this is not an attack on FedEx, but I think it's important for us to understand how the people who control the city control it. And in some cases, they want to ensure that they have control over the city council as well. And my position is that the city council should be controlled by the people, by the citizens. Now, that does not mean that FedEx and any of these other companies don't deserve support because they provide a lot of jobs in this community. But at the same time, we cannot have a situation where you got boarded up homes, boarded up buildings, bombed out buildings in North and South Memphis. You know, and then you got to go into East Memphis and it looks like a whole different city. You talk about apartheid, that's what apartheid looks like. And you can have the Sears Tower building that's 3 or 4 blocks from Jackson and Cleveland. You go down there and you see no investment. In fact, what you see is disinvestment. You know, so yes, there's a major concern. And yes, we should be standing up in arms. And we have to realize that we are the majority. We may not be the majority economically, and we can change that by putting our resources together, by supporting Thaddeus Matthews' show and other African American shows with our dollars, with advertising dollars. And realize that if we do that, he gets stronger, other African American advertisers and shows get stronger, and they can put it back into our community. But we have got to get out of the mentality that we are the minority and we have no power. And whatever the white man says is golden. His ice water is colder now. That's not true. You know, the bottom line is this here. As a little boy's daddy told him in a parable, he said, Daddy, he said, if the lion is the king of the beasts, why is it that every book that I read, the man is always defeating the lion? He said, son, when the lion starts to write the book, he'll start to win. We have to start to write our book, you know, in order to change the paradigm in this community.
Well, and it's going to take unity. It's going to take us sitting at the table. Now, there's an old adage that's used in politics. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right.
Okay. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Berlin Board is our enemy. Now, I'm going to work with people that I don't even particularly care to work with, and they may not even particularly care to work with me. But here's the thing that we have. I am the communications line in the black community. DIA and all these other stations are controlled by white folk. You cannot get anybody black to say the things that I'm going to say. And if y'all waiting for that handkerchief head, what's that boy that be on Channel 3 and writes for the commercial appeal? What's that white boy, that Negro's name? Sanford. Otis Sanford. That's the biggest handkerchief head Negro in the city. He ain't never said anything positive about black leadership unless it's the black folk that the white folk have already okayed. When I went through my situation with the court system, and they wanted to lock me up, and they didn't lock me up, Otis said, why he free? Well, damn, the judge didn't find no reason for me to go to jail. That's the reason. They found, and here's what they do. Even when they came after me, Ricky, and I understand that I'm a target. When they came after me and could not go forward with the charges, they said, okay, well, we can't use them big charges on you. We're going to get you for tampering with evidence. Now, I'd already spent $60,000 to $75,000 with Steve Parise. So I said, okay, fine. And that's what you said? I tampered with some evidence. I understand that white folk go after strong black men.
right.
The most dangerous man to the white man is that black man that don't scratch his head when it ain't itching, don't dance unless he like the music, and can look that white boy in his eye and tell him, you could go straight to the pits of hell. I've got that ability because I'm independent. I don't work for none of these white corporations. I know what is going on in this city, and until we unify as a unit in this city, everybody can't run for office. Somebody gonna help somebody else win. So what I'm urging those of you who are thinking about running for office, if you don't have the means to run, save your little papers, put your little change together, put it in the bank, and then when you get your tokens together, then let's be able to do it. But for Worth Morgan to come and say, well, I'm not going to support this black woman because this black man who is a convicted felon supports her, well, damn, he still lives in the community. Judges, when you use your political influence as a consultant, there are some judges that's sitting on the bench right now.
A number of them.
Okay, criminal judges, civil judges, who came to the convicted felon.
That's right.
Okay? There are people who are sitting on you,
State senators, state representative, councilmen, and county commissioners.
who are president, who were elected recently.
Right.
They came to Rickey Peete. So when Worth Morgan says that he cannot vote for Rhonda Logan because of Rickey Peete, then he needs to look next to him and look at Berlin Boyd. Berlin Boyd won because Rickey Peete and his organization got involved. So, but white folk use their convenient memory to come at us, okay? They want to make us look bad to us, and we say when the white man talks bad about us, well, the white man said it, so if the white man said it, you know it's gotta be true. And he's been a lying demon since we left Africa, okay? So it is time for us as a people to tell white folk, okay, we'll work with you, but we're gonna work for us.
There you go. I agree. Absolutely.
Ricky, anything else you want to say? I know you couldn't stay the whole show. Anything else you got in your mind that you want to say?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity, to talk to people. And this is the first interview. I've had many, many requests over the years for interviews, but I wanted to do an interview with somebody that I felt comfortable and somebody that I felt was really committed to doing something for our people. And this won't be my last time here. Also, as I've told you before, I'm in the process of finishing my autobiography. Mm-hmm. And the title of the autobiography is I Am Rickey Peete. Okay. That's the title. Uh-huh. And before I give any of the interviews on it, at the time that I'm ready to release it, it's going to be here first because I want it to be at the site of something that's real. Mm-hmm. Victor Hugo, the French poet, once said, there's nothing in all the world more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Mm-hmm. And the idea for us to stop relying on the majority media, the majority in terms of the white control media, to dictate who our leaders are, who we listen to, and the idea of us as a people to stop allowing them to also determine whether our leaders are viable enough to follow. And the idea of us stop letting them use past offenses that have been paid for, to delegitimize our leadership is an idea whose time has come. And it's about us asserting ourselves in this city, using the power that we have, coming together, and realizing that we're all the same. As Malcolm X said in 1965, he said, whether you live in the boulevard or on the alley, in the alley or on the boulevard, he said, we're all in the same boat. And we're all gonna catch the same hell from the same folks. So we gotta get off this attitude saying, well, I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you. We're all together at the end of the day. And we've got to stand together. We got to stand together as a people in this community if we're gonna really make Memphis the great city that has the potential of being not just for black folk, for all of us, but most certainly for our folk, because our folk are the ones who've been left behind.
In closing, what message do you want to send to Berlin Boyd and Word from Oregon?
Well, the message that I want to send to Berlin Boyd is, Mr. Boyd, I worked very, very hard 4 years ago to get you elected in that runoff to become the council, believing that you would, in fact, represent District 7, a district that I was first elected to on the school board 30-some years ago, and then on the council. And I feel betrayed in that I've not seen any fruits that have been born for that district in the predominantly African-American sector. Yes, downtown is developing, and that's well and good, but we need jobs, we need economic development, we need community development, we need all of that in the rest of District 7. So just as hard as we work to put you in, we're gonna be working just as hard to ensure that we get new leadership that's gonna work hard for our community. And for the Country Club Klansmen, the young white racists, I want you to know that I have experienced racism all my life. So you making comments about me and trying to use me as a distraction to the real deal of trying to get Miss Logan in is something that's not going to affect me. I'm not a boy. I don't bend over. I don't scratch my head and grin when nothing is funny. I don't do the moonwalk backwards. I'm a man. And I will always be a man. And you can rest assured that I will be in your face. I won't be your boy. You're going to have to deal with me. I'm not going anywhere.
All right, my guest has been Rickey Peete, and Rickey's open to come on this show anytime. We're going to be working to put in a person in that seat. District 1 also is where my church is also located in that particular district. I'm from North Memphis. I'm from the streets of a little area we call New Chicago. And when I look at the street that I grew up on, it's a wasteland now. Between Breedlove, I grew up on Clyde Street by the railroad track. In between Breedlove and Coca, all the houses have been vandalized. The house I grew up in has been vandalized. Grass is growing up. It's a wasteland. The church that's on the very corner, Clyde Avenue, hell, they trying to sell the property and move out of it. We have no development in North Memphis. I remember growing up in that area how old are you, Ricky?
63.
Okay, you're a year older than I am. Growing up in that area, I go back and I remember Firestone being in that area. Arrow Glass Boat Factory, the wood factory, that was the businesses that I would pass walking from New Chicago to Manassas High School. We had International Harvester, we had Plow, we had the potato chip factory, Humco. We had the toy factory in New Chicago on Empire. None of those businesses, none of those industries are in North Memphis any longer. We have no grocery stores, we own nothing. And until black folk understand that until we unify, take our dollars and cents, $1.3 trillion of black buying power in this country, until the black church understands it ain't all about going to heaven buying them golden streets, some of that money has got to be reinvested into the black community until we come together and solidify ourselves as a people. We ain't gonna all get along. We ain't gonna all like each other, but the common cause is to build up our communities. My guest, Rickey Peete. I'll be back right after these, and appreciate, Rickey, you coming on the show. We'll be back after these commercial messages. All right,
I
so.
remember that was good.
Yeah.
And we'll have to put our heads together on some strategy on this stuff, see what they do relative to this thing next week, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right.
Tell your grandma I'm
Okay, Joseph left us, information.
Okay, good.
T,
Uh-huh.
do I need to reposition myself?
Said what?
Do I need to reposition myself, or you got me right here?
You should be fine.
Now, how do I get out and get to that? Get out, get the umbrella and get right there. All right, there.
All right, man.
Okay.
Matthew Moore, I ain't been, who asked you to donate anything? Man. All right, Matthew Moore, you gone. I don't even like some of the shit I'm seeing that you saying back. Somebody here know something about Badwater and Scutterfield. All right. You gotta be from the north. I take it you're a Republican, Matthew. Were you talking to me? I ain't neither. Oh, you talking to that other guy I took off the page. I'm all right here?
Yeah.
All right. Don't forget to cut his mic off.
Okay.
Debbie to put the man's umbrella up and everything.
Huh?
She had put his umbrella up for him.
Oh,
We found it though.
yes, North Memphis is where the legends come from, like me. Manassas High School. You call me Fatty. Okay. Call me what you want me, baby. Just call me. How much time I got left? Okay.
Around 30 minutes. That's all.
I'm going home and finish my nap I started in the office.
Cause you was gone.
I hope I can sleep a whole night. This is summer here.
I was gonna tell you I need to stop and get me some Tylenol. I got a slight headache.
Woke up at 3:30 and stayed woke. Been woke the rest of the day.
Most the rest of the day. You took a little nap.
Huh?
You took a little nap.
It went for about 30 minutes now.
Just about.
I didn't even hear my phone ringing in my lap.
And it was showing up raining.
Hmm. I was going over to the other side.
Don't say that.
I'm glad I came back though. I didn't see no golden streets.
Don't ever say, don't say. You
Huh.
don't tell about that part. Don't say that.
No chariots. In the upper room. Hey, hey, that lonely girl.
Somebody was singing that last night.
My only girl. Let this lonely guy love you. Huh? Hey, that lonely girl, my only girl. Let this lonely guy love you. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Jamie Foxx, that's who was singing.
I didn't see it.
You go ahead, pick it up.
And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show. Rickey Peete was my guest. He was very blunt and to the point. And I don't apologize for nothing that I say, unless I'm wrong, and I'm very seldom that. Well, I may be wrong once a week, once or twice a week, you know. But I'm totally comfortable with my position on what is going on in the city of Memphis, and racism is very much alive and well in this city. And that there are those who are white, who are the real power brokers in this city, that would like to return this city to white power, to be the majority on the city council, to be the majority on the county commission. Let me share this with you as well. He who the white man always got nice things to say about is the Negro that we best watch out for. Okay? Gotta watch out for him. I've stated that this is an election year. Those of you who are running for office, y'all need to come see me. Go and get your little monies together, because it ain't gonna be free. And it should not be free. Don't take all of your money in running of your campaign to the white man. Yes, take some of it, and don't think you can give me the crumbs that fall from the table. One of the races that I will be involving myself in is the mayoral race. I support the return to City Hall of Dr. W. Harrington. That's my choice, okay? I've looked at some of the black folk who were co-sponsors of a fundraiser for the current mayor, Jim Strickland, and was not surprised at the names, because what we find is that many of our black electorate, those who have been elected by us, don't support us, don't work for us, bring nothing to us, but they join in with the white man who says, look, I'm gonna rub you on your head and rub you on your stomach, but I need you to go fetch me some of the black votes. And that is what is going on in our community. It's happening. And you best to realize that it is happening. You best to open up your eyes and understand that all is not well in the city of Memphis. We are the majority. 70 to 75% of the residents of the city of Memphis are people of color, black folk. We're the majority, but you act like the minority. Berlin Boyd and I supported him 4 years ago. I can't support him. I cannot support any black man that would join in with the white man to oppose us. I cannot join in with any black man that has the power to bring strength to the black community and to that council, and you go with your white counterparts against us. And if you ain't for us, you against us. Ain't that what the Cowboys you say? If you ain't for us, you against us. And it should not come as a surprise to Mr. Boyd, who will have the money. Understand that Berlin Boyd will be banked up. He will have his white supporters who need to keep a black man like him in office. I'm totally disappointed in Berlin. Okay, totally disappointed. Want to say leading though to Ronald Wade, the nephew of my longtime friend, Randy Wade. Want to say we're hoping for you a very speedy recovery. Tomorrow night, we'll be talking with a friend of mine. Her name is Kawana Allen. I've known Kawana for a long time. Okay? Her daughter, who has ran away multiple times, who was sex trafficked, and this girl is only 17, several years ago, was taken to New Orleans to work the streets there by men in Memphis. She's on the host roll. In the Lamar, there's a pimp whose name may be Gotti that she's working for. We're going to talk about that. She's going to be on the show tomorrow night, and she's going to talk about some of the resistance that she, as a mother, has received from the city of Memphis Police Department. Then Friday night, oh, praise the Lord, saints. All you saints, just go ahead on. Last week we talked about Pastor Anthony Turner, who was stupid enough to let Latrina record him talking about how good her coochie tastes and how he wanted to eat it. Go on, Pastor. Till she cried. That's some good coochie eating, when you can eat it and make her cry. Okay, but we talked about that on last week. But I was contacted by another young lady. And brother preachers, I don't go looking for this stuff. Brother pastors, please understand that in the age of these phones here, these pretty phones here, even them cheap ones. Somebody said, Brother Anthony found his good thing. Yeah. Eating a coochie till she cried thing. Okay, well, let me go where I am now. Brothers, these things can be dangerous. Not dangerous, dangerous. Young lady contacted me. She's 23 now. She started sleeping with a Memphis pastor when she was 18 years old. The girl says her church was fellowshipping with his church. She a member of the Burning Bush Missionary Baptist Church. Lord, I've been all the members of the Burning Bush. Who is it? Who is it? Jesus. And I ain't gonna give the pastor's name tonight. That's going to be on Friday night. She was over there, and the preacher, this preacher that we're talking about, saw her. She was 8 years old, and 18, and he told her, say, hey, baby girl, let's have some lunch or something. So she went to lunch, started screwing the pastor. The pastor ain't married. Now, he ain't married, I will say that. And the girl was 18. Up and got the girl pregnant. Up and got her pregnant. Got the girl pregnant. They screwing with no condoms on. She gets pregnant. And brother pastor, she done sent me all these emails. She done emailed me or text me tonight while I was sitting up here on the air. Yes, she has. Sent me a picture of you and her having dinner. Sent me a little quick video of her being at your house, brother pastor. It seems, brother pastor, that you told the girl because you's a pastor that she couldn't have your baby. So y'all went to the Planned Parenthood place. It's all in these, she sent me 36 screenshots. You even told her here, let me see if I can. I'm sorry for putting you through this, and I pray two things. One is that you can forgive me, and two is that we can be stronger and better once we get past this. I won't stay for the whole service, but I do need to show my face. He supports me at work, so I owe it to him. His funeral is tomorrow at 4 p.m. at Mount Vernon. Then you come back and say, I've been struggling so much emotionally because I can see the change in you, and I know it's because of me that breaks me all the way down. The girl was in love with the preacher. She told me today she went to his house every day. Then, after they go down to the Planned Parenthood, there was supposed to be 2 payments. I'm trying to find that. One was $275, and the other one was for $375. And he went to swipe his card to pay for the abortion, and found out her little Medicaid or Medicare insurance would pay for it, and he put his card back in his pocket. But this pastor, who is prominent, who works for a major corporation in the city, in fact, he's a chaplain for a major corporation in the city. Ooh. Let me take somebody off of here. Heal Real, we're gonna take you off the page. This pastor, what do y'all think about the pastor screwing the girl, getting her pregnant, having her to abort the baby? Then she said, she went over to his church after the abortion. And he announces in church that he got another girlfriend. She 19. Now, the preacher 52. And he announces to the church that this girl was the love of her life. She sat in there. She done had the abortion for the man, for the pastor. And she go to church. Probably needs some spirit, cause she told the man in one of these text messages that after the abortion she was gonna need some pads. So I guess you bleed a little bit when you done had the abortion, but he told her he bought some pads. So he did tell her he bought some pads, and she was there. And here's another girl, 19. She done told me who the girl is and just sent me a text message that the other girl wants to talk to me too. Lord, to mercy. So she says that after the church service, the preacher texts us, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean, I don't really love her. So I guess they kept on screwing for a while. Then they just broke up on the 29th of December. Because I guess she figured out she was being played. And I got a little taped interview of her. And, ooh, the girl's slow. I don't mean no harm. But I'm talking to the girl, asking her questions. Jesus. Was not my easiest interview. But she done text me while I was on there. Let me see what she said. Let me go to 36 screenshots. She says, hey, Thaddeus, I have the other young lady. She would like to tell her side of the story. She would like her name to stay anonymous. Her Facebook name is, and she gives me the name. So Friday night, see, y'all talk about me being the cussing pastor, and you preachers be talking about me. All right. Keep on running your mouths. But on Friday night, I am going to reveal who that pastor is, the name of the church. I'll give you this much. It's in North Memphis. I know some South Memphis preacher just went, whew. But brother pastors, especially those of y'all that's talking about me, they may bring me something on you. But does that make this pastor a murderer? Does it make this pastor, who's also a chaplain for a major corporation in this city, does it make him a killer, an accessory to the killing of a baby? This pastor who wants to save face at the church don't want the members of I almost said the name of the church, don't want the members of the church to know he was sleeping with this young girl. He's 52 years old. The girl the girl is 23 now, starts sleeping with him when she was 18 years old. Mm, 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 mm. Here a fella said on here, that's why I won't take my wife to church. Ooh. He said, he said, wait a minute. That's why I won't take my wife to church. Let a pastor try to sleep with my wife. He'll meet Lucifer and Caesar Borgia. Oh, Jesus. Mm, mm, mm. I will be talking about it. I'll talk about it on Friday night. 18 years old. 18 years old. Here's somebody said the Bible study teacher was trying to help me. No lie. Trying to run Genesis and all the way up in you, wasn't it? But see, y'all folk that talk about me being the cussing pastor. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. So y'all tune in on Friday night. My main page is back up. They won't open up yet my on live yet. So y'all tell all your friends all about it. But do you think it's all right? Now, the pastor ain't married. The young girl ain't married. Do you think she took advantage? Excuse me. He took advantage of the young girl. And like I said, I don't go looking for these stories. Y'all bring it to me, but if I think it's a good TV show, ooh, Jesus, we gonna do it. I told you in this year, ain't no balls hold. If you have a great story for me, you'd like to contact me, is my email in the lower thirds in the system? Thaddeus.Matthews is my email account. Don't send it to the church email. We have enough coming through there. Thaddeus.Matthews@gmail.com. But you gotta have the receipts, okay? You got to have the proof of whatever it is that you're going to send me. But do y'all think that the pastor is out of order? 52 years old, this little young tenderoni. See, and I know the reasons that she contacted me. She contacted me because, Pastor, you didn't fulfill your obligation, okay? She said y'all broke up on the 29th. You didn't buy her no Christmas present, did you? That's what it was. You didn't get that girl no Santa Claus for Christmas. And here you talking about the other girl. Ooh, we pastors. 52 years old. What you doing with a baby? She's 18 years old. Then you're screwing her. And he talks in here about how he wants to screw her every day. And even when she was carrying the baby, and she, I think pregnant women, they have these, they don't be wanting to screw all the time. And he got upset. I have to go through. She sent me 36 screenshots. Good God. Let me see if I can find something interesting. I'm pregnant. Let me see. I'm pregnant, but I'm still going to the doctor. Then I guess he didn't answer right away. She said, babe, huh? I ain't got but 2 minutes. She said, babe. Then he came back and said, hello. WYD, what you doing? Trying not to think. I threw up again. Oh my God, babe. Dang, babe. Then he come back and said, I did not expect this so soon. I really didn't. Like I said, I'm happy and scared and excited and annoyed all at the same time because I promised, I thought I moved every time.
Pull down.
Huh? He thought he pulled it out. Pastor, you didn't pull it out. Let's see. Ooh, let me see if there's anything else. I'm hearing you. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying. Then he tells her on one of about his stomach, my tummy's still not right. Keep playing. The good part, if you is at least I can nut freely for a while. Damn, Pastor. Ooh, Jesus. Lord, for a pastor. But I reveal who the pastor is on Friday night. So make sure it may be your pastor that's going to serve you communion on Sunday. I invite you as I'm closing and I'm winding down to come and be with me this Sunday morning, the first Sunday of the year at the Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministries, 3835 Raleigh Millington Road. I invite you to come be with me. My text on Sunday morning will be careful who you leave for dead. That's the message on Sunday morning. Be careful who you leave for dead. Don't forget, on the second Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's Soulful Sundays, baby, with Courtney Little, live band, DJ, dancing, going on. Wanna have a good time? Ain't but $10. We'll be talking about it. I'm gonna have to get the Cougar Hunter in here one night next week. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have enjoyed the show on tonight. Thanks to former city council person Rickey Peete for being on the show tomorrow night. Sex trafficking with a mother in the studios on tomorrow night, Friday. Everybody trying to figure out what pastor is it in North Memphis? Is it my pastor? Is it my pastor? Because I know my pastor kind of loose. Is it my pastor who been out there and he been screwing them young girls and she done went and had abortion and he a killer? Is my pastor the murderer of a baby? You tune in on Friday night and you gonna know who the murdering demon happens to be. Shabada, shabada, shabada. Until tomorrow night, I'm the baddest man on TV and social media. My name is Thaddeus Matthews. Until then, top of the evening to you. Oh! Good night.